everybody. I'm just checking my audio right now. Should be up in just a moment. I think we're up and running. Sound, everything. Facebook's up. YouTube's up. I think we've got Substack should be up. Well, hopefully. Which is good. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to come straight into the chat room. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks Mornings, Megaworldwiide. Hello. Hi. I know I'm late getting started this morning. I had to sort of reshuffle my setup here to get kind of going again. It's been a while. Oh, my God. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. I feel overwhelmingly welcomed back. And can I just say that, like, the story was this. I hold on, that shouldn't play yet. Thank you. I'm here. I know you're happy to see me. Awesome. I did not need to see this story this week. I need a comedy sign that just kind of goes, I'll work on that. That's next after the applause sign, which worked fairly well, I have to say. Like I gave it all right, I'll turn that off so that it doesn't play again automatically. It shouldn't load every time I come in. Yeah, woman found alive in coffin after knocking heard at crematorium. Knocking, not screaming. Polite to the end. 65-year-old woman who thought to have died was discovered to be, in fact, alive in her coffin just moments before she was due to be cremated. The bizarre incident occurred at the Wat Rat Prakhong Tam, a Buddhist temple in northern province of Nonthaburi, Thailand. I've been there, by the way. I've seen the reclining Buddha. I've seen that. It's an extraordinary sight, and you can actually, they'll give you a little piece of gold leaf. And you can repair parts of it if you want. Like as a guest, you can go over and press it into the thing and layer. It's like, yeah, anyways. A Facebook video shared by the temple reportedly shows the woman stirring and lifting her arms and head. So not only was she, don't put a picture of a sandwich in there while people are being claustrophobic. That's not right. That was her. No, I'm kidding. So according to Paratsurup, the temple's general and financial affairs manager. Isn't that nice? A temple has a general and a financial affairs manager. I feel that much closer to God just by the second. The woman's brother had driven her 300 miles from Fitzenhook further north from the temple. So he drove her in there, knocking the whole way. I have no doubt. Yep. Like, how much more? Where I need to go to. Um, where is it?
Bring out your dead!
On the nose can you possibly be? Chat room. Good lord. Um, and I like that. This is not the day I needed to see that story. Not at all. Of sort of almost of all days. I wrote my dad's obituary this week, and then I wrote, in collaboration with the funeral home and my stepmother, the booklet that will be handed out at his memorial service. And that sucks. That's a start taking notes now. If you have elderly parents, I'm just going to tell you, or older parents or parents with physical ailments that may shorten their lifespan, start taking notes now because you'll be overwhelmed by that process. And I honestly, not I'm sure your parents are lovely people, but they don't have all the crazy stories my father has. It's just I will put that up against it. I will willingly, if you're Ted Nugent's kid, I will put up my dad's stories next to yours. And I don't mean by like gross out. I mean just by, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Kasten, yeah, it's not a good time. I mean, I will say this. I will say that it's an honor to do it. And I will say that as a parent myself, and as, being lucky enough to have a father I loved and respected, that I felt a responsibility to do it and to make sure that it was as best we could without me, writing poetry and lyrics and limericks and making it still fit in an obituary form. I just it needed more attention. That's all. And so, yeah. Your grandmother passed in 1887. All right, sure. Oh, you read it? Thank you. It talk about having a hard time turning something in. Yeah, I'm at some point I would like to, probably around the holidays, if you guys are okay with it, around in Christmas break. There are a couple of videos of my dad being interviewed that I would like to bring on the show and kind of talk you through the way I do with the other videos, except with not, being as big a dick as I normally am to people who deserve it. My dad doesn't. So, yeah. Hello, hi. There you are. Yeah, getting ready early is good. It's a terrible thing. My mom, bless her heart, is very healthy. Knock on wood. And so is my stepmom and my aunt as well. Boy, my my Meemaw, who was my great grandmother, who my cousin Jerome and I, when she lived with our grandparents on the Spark side, and she liked to play checkers, and she would make Jerome and I play checkers with her. And if we beat her, she'd hit us with her cane. She always had it right here. She'd whack. She just hit you in the leg if you won. And she was doing it kind of jovially, but it hurt. It really did. Like she didn't have the muscle strength to pull that, as it came, just tack, right? And she would hit us if we beat her, but also she would beat us if we beat her. She would also beat us if she thought we were trying to lose on purpose. Yeah. So there was no way, and here's the worst part. She wasn't that good at checkers. Yeah. I so wished it had been chess. just because I didn't get good at chess until I was probably 12 or 13. Um, but yeah, so that was my, yeah, she lived to be 101. And our family, people get pretty old. If my dad didn't have kidney disease specifically, and if they had, you know, if this had all happened 5 years later, um, there will be technologies available to, like dialysis extended my dad's life. There will be transplant possibilities, whether they're printing your own kidneys or whatever in the near future. So it's extra sad that it's just this window of time. And people go through this all the time. People deal with diseases that are on the cusp of being cured, or at least think of all the people in the 90s who died of AIDS, or the early 2000s, even before the real treatment started to show up. Just imagine the people 6 months, 8 months before. I lost several friends. I know a lot of people that lost family members and loved ones and partners and that kind of stuff. And so having that just out past the horizon is and by the way, um, scientists, pharmaceutical companies, government officials, but for the obvious few, were busting their ass trying to find a cure for that. And they sort of did it. The window would have been nicer if it was shorter, but we don't know if that was a factor of where there's a will, there's a way, or whether it was just a aspect of technological timing. The last person to die in an iron lung, right? Yeah, there's always some sort of parents don't love you unless they beat you. Well, okay, I don't know if I'll make it through this story, so I'm just warning you ahead of time. And also, I'm only going to go to 10 o'clock my time this morning, if that's okay with you guys, because I want to do a show this afternoon, and I'm holding it together. But I have a lot of work to do on that I haven't done since I've been gone, and I've got stuff to do. I've got the Jam tomorrow night. I'm flying to LA tomorrow, and then I fly Wednesday straight from LA to. That's why I'm not driving. Flying straight from LA back to Kentucky for Thanksgiving and for a family memorial. And then there's just a lot of stuff. So, anyways, I'm doing that. And now I whatever. So yeah, I'm not going to get through that story. I'm censoring myself on purpose. I'm limiting what I'm going to say because there's something in the news. Okay, I'll show you real quick. So let me see if this. There we go. There's on the Daily Beast podcast. They had this psychologist on to talk about Trump's mental decline. And it said, whatever personality issues or problems people with dementia have begun to deteriorate, and they become even more crude, disorganized, aggressive, confused versions of that personality disorder. So the reason Trump is becoming crass and stupid and clingy is because he's always been crass and stupid and clingy. It's just now exacerbated by the fact that his brain is turning to tapioca. And as my dad's body winded down, his ability to communicate what was going on inside him was limited because he was just in a chemical storm of phosphorus and other toxins that were building up in his system that he couldn't get out through dialysis and the normal evacuation process that we all have. And so this buildup of toxins in his body made it really difficult for him to speak. And so I'm going to get through this. All right, I'm going to do it. But he kept saying, come on, Sparks. Come on, Sparks. Come on, damn it. Come on, Sparks. And even as it got more faded and weaker, he'd be like, come on. Like he couldn't articulate it as he was wasting, but he was, and he would go, He go, I'm talking to myself. He wanted to make sure that he was speaking in anger, he kept telling us, I'm talking to myself, that he didn't want us to think he was mad at us for trying to help him up and it wouldn't work, and his legs wouldn't work, so he couldn't stand. But he was always making sure that when he would go, damn it, come on, Sparks, he was like, come on, come on, come on. Like he would do like that. He wanted to make sure that we knew he wasn't saying, come on, come on, come on, like hurry to us. He was saying it to himself. And he wanted to make sure we knew that. Because he's a good person. Was. Hey, for those that are just just joining us, my dad died on Tuesday. So, and uh he came off dialysis about a month ago, and I was with him. I got there as fast as I could. He told the family on a Tuesday. I was there Thursday. I got on a flight Thursday night, and I was there Friday on a red eye. And I was with him till the end. And Carol, his wife, and I were with him when he died. And he was, he had kind of a last effort to kind of, he wanted to be up. And we were kind of helping him, trying to get him comfortable. And then he was gone. Like that. Just gone. And we both knew. But we were still talking to him, seeing if it was an episode. But he fell right on my shoulder. He was in the bed that he was in. I was holding his hand, and he just fell here. And neither one of us could find a pulse, and it was pretty clear. And it's odd, but during what am I talking about? It's not odd. I'm sure everybody gets this. I hope you do. That I became really fixated while I was there that I that I wanted to be holding his hand when he went. It just became it was important to me, and I couldn't know. We wouldn't know if it happened in the middle of the night, or something. Like we were sleeping in shifts. My cousin Bridget, bless her heart, came up and she slept on the couch next to him, and then I would come up at 2 o'clock in the morning. He would be kind of expressive about 2 to 5 a.m., and he would almost be at his most awake, and he would, So if he needed to get up, if he needed to stand up, I was the strongest one in the house physically. That's why I was there more than you know anything that was my function beyond just the emotional importance, which was the key. But that he was a big dude. My dad was 6'2", about 200 pounds, I would say. Maybe a little more at the end, even. And so if somebody had to get him up, it was going to be me. and we did it together, and we would count, to help him go 1, 2, 3 to get him up. Okay, well, one of the things that ties to is when I was a kid, and this is the thing I was triggered to talk about earlier with the whole, like, if your parents love you, they beat you. They don't. Um, my dad would count to 3 before you'd get a spanking. 1, 2, yeah, 2.5, right? And so having this whole like 1, 2, 3 to count and get him up, it was this weird kind of mix of numbers. So it was like, and that was another reason why my dad was in. I'm talking to myself when he would start counting, like, when to himself to try to get up. He'd go 1, 2, 3, like he would try to sit himself up. So, anyways, my cousin Bridget was invaluable. My stepmom's brother came and helped too. Carl, he was lovely. My cousin Jerome, lives about an hour away, so he would come and help regularly. Restock the firewood and help us do stuff around. It was just great. Like, it's so lovely. And then the parade of people that came to see my dad in his sort of living wake that was happening, because they knew I would get to a point where I could hold it together, and then one of them would come through, and they would hold it together until they were leaving, and then they would start crying, and I was just, that was it. Just, yeah. So in this article that I was reading about Trump's brain, basically him becoming worse, I can affirm that this becomes true if you're a good person as well. Yeah, your dad didn't know he wasn't supposed to get up. Yeah, it's rough for them, especially if, my dad had a very active life until, recently. And even on dialysis for, almost 6 years, he still, went hunting and fishing and, traveled for holidays as best he could. He had to make arrangements around all of it. And hats off to the people in, like, dialysis clinics and stuff, all like coordinating with people who are just trying to get through it. But my dad got, sweeter even near the end. And that, and more determined to live, because those were his two defining characteristics. Yeah. So the advice I would give to anybody who's got a parent or a loved one who's on this trajectory is get the mechanics in order. If they're going to need a wheelchair at some point, go ahead and get it. Just keep it on the side. Better to have it early, because they'll have more energy to do the things they want. When we finally got my dad to accept that he needed a wheelchair to move around because he was dedicated to walking, but it would exhaust him to get across just the living room, he would make a decision about whether to sit with us for breakfast based on the fact that he could see the kitchen from where he was sitting, but that's a lot. And so we thought it would be a good idea if he got a wheelchair. And then as soon as we did, he was able to have breakfast with us in the mornings, because we just committed to that part of it. You feel like you don't want to commit to the next step that is coming, because you want to hold on to hope, and you want to hold on to that potential. Well, that's always there. That it won't hurt anything. If you never use it and there's a miracle that happens, then it was there in case. But just know that there's going to be a step. There were steps that we couldn't have been aware of. Um, and the hospice people were great at explaining a lot of what was going to happen to him, and they were great about bringing anything we needed for him to use. The second wheelchair they brought because he wanted to sit by the fire, and we wanted something that could lean him back. They brought straight from Norman Bates's house. I'll show you a picture of it at some point, but it's one of the spookiest devices I've ever seen. It's like it was literally like I felt like we had to return it to a haunted house by 9 or we'd lose our deposit. Just this giant gothic thing. Yeah. It is a process. Hospice are great people. Exactly. Yeah. So I would say anytime they give you advice on that kind of stuff, and it's going to be hard. It's just going to be terrible to face that they're going to need that or they might need that. Put it in the garage and wait. Just do it ahead of time. Because the sooner you have those things, the longer you can extend the health, what time they have left to a more mobile experience. They can get around more. I've not lost my sense of humor, not at all. But I like my experience with this. I I am not squeamish about surgical elements or any of those kind of things. I'm not. My dad had a fistula that that they put on your arm that looks like a giant hematoma that you had to be sensitive to touching if you were trying to lift him, and he was very sensitive to it. And you just adapt to it. You just do. And I made him, I made him laugh a few times, and at the in the later stage, he couldn't laugh, but he would roll his eyes. That was the best he could do. I'd say something funny, and he'd go like that, and it was. So yeah, can confirm that Trump, because he's a skeevy bastard, will become increasingly so, and the family around him will have to experience that because you live in the house you build. Let's see. This is. I wanted to show you. Where is this? Where did it go? I wanted. There was a big dump in crypto this week, and you know how you can tell. I don't like to predict markets and that kind of stuff, but I will say that. Where are you, you silly thing? I don't know. Whoops. See if I can find it here. Yeah. Yeah, here you go. This I thought I'd oh, go away. I have to log into this thing first. It's always something. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so if you want to know, and this is the best I'm going to do as far as predicting stocks. If you want to know a stock is going to crash, wait till Eric Trump buys a bunch of it. And that's the sign. That's how you will know. You're like, oh, okay, putting a put on that one, I guess. Is that the term? Um, how do I know? Because it's always the same. Here's this is Eric, by the way, on a game called Can You Alphabetize, thinking that he won. But this is a crypto crash erodes wealth for Trump's family. And this is the crucial part. And followers. President Trump's second term, crypto assets transformed his family's wealth. Now the Trumps and their followers are getting a crash course in the wild volatility ingrained in digital currencies. The value of the Trump branded meme coin has fallen by about a quarter. Hold on. By about a quarter since August. It's lost, I think, 70% of its value since January. A quarter. 25% drop since August. Now, if you want any way to push back against a maggot saying Trump's poll numbers are actually great and they're lying about it, understand that the price of Trump's meme coin and the stock for Truth, Trump Media and Technology Group, the one that owns Truth Sinkhole, you could check that stock price. It goes right with his polling numbers, essentially. Self, as part of a broader rout that's wiped out more than $1 trillion of value across the digital asset world, the Trump family's fortune has fallen to about $6.7 billion from $7.7 billion in early September. Now, if you'll recall, when he came to office, he said he was worth $9 billion. So, and he's leveraged on that $9 billion. Let me repeat that again. He's leveraged on that $9 billion. He's got nearly as much debt as he has money, is the idea. But they're thinking that this crypto thing's going to be their big bailout because of the this Bitcoin thing that they put in this Truth Holdings thing or whatever. This is literally American Bitcoin is what ABTC is. And American Bitcoin is their like right-wing way to sell Bitcoin to maggots. And everybody who bought in on it is losing their shirt right now. Now, will it stagger and go up a little bit? Yeah, but it's clearing suckers left and right. What a great buying opportunity, said Eric Trump. People who buy dips and embrace volatility will be the ultimate winners. People who buy dips already have a lot of cash. Just for the record. You have to be sitting on a lot of cash to, quote, buy a dip. You have to know that a stock is undervalued and it will recover. And you've got to have a window of exit financially that can protect you in that case, if it doesn't. But you also have to be sitting on enough money where this like dip when it comes up matters against what you could lose in gaining if the stock doesn't recover, or if it stays flat like Ford or something. I've never been more bullish on the future of cryptocurrency and the modernization of the financial system. Also, and again, if you want to sign that, that's it. So Trump Media, $800 million loss. Now, keep in mind, it wasn't worth shit to begin with. So any money they make is free money because whatever. Anyways, one of the reasons why $800 million in loss. Why? Well, it's because they also use Trump Media and Technology Group to buy crypto. So shares hit a record low on Wednesday. At least part of the decline might be explained by a poorly timed move into cryptocurrency. I needed that laugh. I did. I just said, yeah. Just kind of, I'm going to just revel in that for a moment, if you don't mind. A poorly timed move into cryptocurrency. The value of the president's stake in the firm fell by about $800 million since September. He's the company's largest holder, with a stake in trust overseen by his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., who is getting a lot of angry phone calls right about now. And they're going to get worse. And at no point is Donald Trump Sr. going to say to Donald Trump Jr., I'm yelling at myself for trusting you, dipshit. The Trump media shares have tumbled 66% in the past year, and they'd already eaten shit for a while. They were originally 75. This 42.91 was the peak this year. And now they're worth $10. Yet another reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene might be quitting Congress, because she has to get out and before she can, sell her stake in that before she loses everything. Trump media, which is unprofitable. Oh, that felt good too. I needed that one. Oh, what an emotional roller coaster we're on today, aren't we, kids? Oh, I'm going insane. I'm clearly losing my mind, I'm just imagining the writer at Bloomberg. Trump media, comma, which is unprofitable, comma. That's magic. Which is unprofitable, comma, has been experimenting. Wait, check this out. Has been experimenting with several new business lines, including crypto. The company spent about $2 billion on Bitcoin and related securities, which, and again, I put that in air quotes because they bought into this Singapore dude's basic, like almost a meme coin, and it looks like a bribe, but whatever. Including options, which is again like you're leveraging it too, like an asshole. And then it went down. It's like at 86,000. It was like 105 or 112,000, and then it's gone to 86. It'll probably like jerk back up and then as people are clearing suckers. But all right. Including options. According to a July statement, its stockpile of roughly 11,500 bitcoins purchased when the cryptocurrency's price was about $115,000 means the company has accumulated a loss about 25% on the position. Obviously, it's other people's money, so they're going to hold it and go long, I think, assuming that it's going to get to 250 at some point, and like, aha. That is until Democrats come in and, pass a law that actually makes it illegal to trade crypto while you're the president, and so all of his losses have to be given to charity. Or all of his profits, rather, have to be given to charity. I'm kidding. It'll all be losses. Like if you want to guarantee this is going to take a shit, have people go, oh, what? Trump's in? Get out. Everybody out. Everybody get out. But the worst time. Okay. It also started hoarding a lesser-known token called CRO issued by a Singapore-based crypto exchange company, Crypto.com. They just have to, right? They just have to just go, but it's all branding with these dickheads. Trump media's stash of the CRO token was worth about $147 million at the end of September. I'll just leave that to you. You just kind of enjoy that for a second. Since then, CRO has lost roughly half its value. Half. Again, if you see Eric Trump walking into a store, run away. It's got rats, and it's probably going to flood. All the garments will reek of, I don't know, whatever you're buying at the store will reek of formaldehyde. It'll give you a rash if you touch any of the devices. I'm just saying, avoid. Trump media is pursuing other lines of business with Crypto.com. The two companies are planning a prediction market. prediction market that will let users bet on sports and politics called Truth Predict. Oh, God. You know, I have had probably the deepest and most poetic 4 weeks of my young life, the last little bit, and it was my mistake thinking that uh, Earth 16 or whatever, which one we're on right now, whatever timeline we're in right now, would clean itself up and get less dumb. Um, what? Oh, hold on. I will see that in a second. Let me bring that up. Thank you for subscribing and liking and all the stuff I forget to say. If you could hit the like, share the show, etc. Right. World Liberty Financial. Nearly a $3 billion paper loss. The Trump's family flagship crypto project, World Liberty Financial, has its own name brand token called WLFI. WLFI. Cleveland's shithole radio station. The cost of that token has plunged from 26 cents in September to around 15 cents. That's their flagship. The Trump family owns a store of WLFI tokens that had a paper value of nearly $6 billion at its peak. Today, they are worth about $3.15 billion. The coins aren't included in the family's valuation on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index because they are currently locked and can't be traded. So they can't even bail out on it. They're like, we're worth $6 billion. Actually, you're not. That's like saying, I can swim with an anvil tied to your leg. In August, the company sold some of its tokens to a tiny publicly traded company called Alt5 Sigma Corp. Bro. The sale came at an opportune moment. World Liberty netted $750 million in cash and an equity stake. Investors in Alt5 haven't necessarily fared as well. Alt5 shares have lost about 75% of their value since the deal was announced. Trump got to keep the $750 million though, and we'll see for how long. Trump's stake in Alt5 via World Liberty dropped by about $220 million, but the Trump still walked away winners from the deal. The family got 75% of the proceeds from the sale of World Liberty tokens, which added up to $500 million from the Alt5 deal alone, according to Bloomberg calculations. The Trumps made about another $400 million from the WLFI token sales before the Alt5 deal. Crypto is here to stay. As long as there's gun runners and human traffickers and drug runners, crypto will always be king in the scumbag world of rich dickheads. A spokesperson, World Liberty Financial has long-term conviction in the rapidly maturing technologies underpinning digital assets, which we believe will radically improve financial services. That's adorable. American Bitcoin, that's Eric's company. ABTC, yeah. At least $330 million loss. About 2 months after Trump's inauguration, his family dove into another crypto project. Eric and Don Jr. collaborated with crypto company Hut 8 Corp. on a complex series of transactions where Hut 8 provided its own Bitcoin mining equipment in exchange for a majority stake in a new firm called American Bitcoin Corporation. Shares of American Bitcoin Corporation peaked at $9.31 in $9.31 in early September, making Eric at Trump's stake worth about $630 million. They have since dropped more than half. Early September, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, hold on, maybe I can use this. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Nice job, Eric. Really, really, really rock solid work there, buddy. Yeah. They've since dropped by more than half, wiping out more than $300 million off the family fortune. The transaction still marks one of the clearest examples of how the Trumps generated hundreds of millions in new crypto wealth from relatively recent endeavors. An investor who bought ABTC shares when they became public would have faced a 45% loss. Congratulations, maggots, you played yourself. An ABTC spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment. Trump meme coin, nearly a $120 million loss, 220 million of tokens unlocked. Trump's meme coin had already plunged since it was announced on the weekend of the presidential inauguration, but since the end of August, it has shed roughly another 25% of its value. Another 25%. Another 25%. Another 25%. Size of the family stake in the coin is opaque, to say the very least. Gauntlet, a risk modeling firm, found that digital wallets associated with the creation of the meme coin owned nearly 17 million tokens a few months after its launch, with another 17 million transferred to crypto exchanges by those wallets. Another 90 million tokens vested in July. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index credits the Trumps with 40% of the total based on the family's ownership stake in World Liberty Financial. Asshole Bitcoin transaction central. Those coins are worth $310 million at prevailing prices, a roughly $117 million drop since the end of August. You don't need polls, kids. You don't need polling. This is the answer. This is all the polling numbers you need. But the Trump family has seen a huge boost in its holdings of the coin. According to the Calculation Index, a portion of the tokens held by insiders and creators of the coin have been locked and untradeable, but are vesting over 3 years. Since the vesting event in July, nearly 90 million more Trump tokens were unlocked for insiders, according to crypto research. Yeah, they're just flooding them. We'll make more of them. These dickheads will keep buying them. The greater idiot theory has never played out so perfectly as in, asshole Bitcoin technology crap out. Yeah. Look, I made it to 10 o'clock. I actually did it. I'm very proud of myself. And thank you guys for showing up. I will see you guys this afternoon for my regular show, and I'm going to do my best to do what would constitute a regular show as best I can. Yeah. So wish me luck. God knows I am behind on clips and all kinds of stuff. So, but I like my nerd financial side needed to bring this part out for you. Tomorrow I have the jam, so I won't be doing a show, obviously, and I will be doing radio on Saturday, and I might chime in on Thanksgiving just to do a quick hello to you guys on Thanksgiving Day, if that's all right. And then I'll be back here for a relatively regular work week next week. So I should be normal next week, except for red-eyeing out Thursday and going to Kentucky on Friday for another service that's happening. So family get-togethers next weekend, and then that. And then the actual funeral service is going to be a couple of months from now, and then there will be a special salute to him next June at Friendship, Indiana. If you guys are the camping sort, I will be at Friendship next summer. I think it's usually the third week. It's around Father's Day, so. And my sister and my mom and dad started going to Friendship, Indiana, to the campgrounds there twice a year before I was born. So I think I went there for the first time I was just barely 1 year old. So Anyways, the celebration that we're having is some of my dad's ashes will be mixed with black powder, and his friends are going to have a salute in his honor with long rifles. And I will be firing some of my dad's ashes out of a Kentucky long rifle that belonged to him. Really. This is why I don't talk about my upbringing and my family much in my act, because no one would understand it. But this is a tradition that at Friendship and amongst my dad's buddies, and this is part of it. His ashes are being put into a powder horn. Some of them are being put into a powder horn that I'm going to hold on to until next year. But that's true. That is going to happen. And that's the life I grew up in. Just so you know, I'm just letting you know. And hope you like the new set. I was when I was trying to distract myself during the last few weeks, I sat down. I was like, I'll try and make myself some new sets to operate in. I don't have them on the Instagram one yet, but I'll make a version for that. But anyways, appreciate you guys, love you guys, and I will see you this afternoon. And I really will get it together at some point. I'm not going to be a blubbery mess for the rest of my life. I don't think. Maybe. Who can say? See you this afternoon. Love you guys. Thank you. Boston, Brian. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Poop Big Rubber. Love you guys.